This is the Lockpicker 1969, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to the next episode of Interview with a Lockpicker. Today's guest is Dark Arts Lockpicking. Say hi.
G'day everyone, how you going?
So, where are you from?
Australia. So I'm in Victoria in Australia, so right down the bottom where it's always cold. Um, so yeah, it's not like what people think.
So, you mentioned something when we were talking about where you live, that you're first generation.
Yes, so I'm first generation Australian. I'm the first one in my whole family born here in Australia. The rest of them all come over from England. My big brother and sister were both born in England, and then my folks moved over here, and then I was born over here.
Okay.
So my little sister and my little brother as well. So yeah, we're first generation Australians.
All right.
So
Okay. So,
not quite as old as people would think.
okay. So, how and when did you get into locksport?
So Locksport got into it about 2015, I believe it was. All from watching a video on YouTube. I just got fascinated by it. I'm like, oh my god, this person picked open a lock. Like, can I have a go at doing that? So then I tried, make my own tools and everything to be able to do it. Using the old hacksaw blades that were no good at all because the tools were way too big to fit into the lock, and I had no idea what I was doing.
Okay. So, at some
Um,
point, you ordered some kind of picks, though, right?
yes, yes. So when I get fixated on something, I get hyper fixated and I get obsessed with it. So yeah, when I got obsessed with Loxwell, I ended up trying to make them, but they didn't work. So I ended up ordering the cheap Chinese pick sets that you get off of eBay for like $10.
Yep.
The old spring steel laminated handles, all black, horrible finish on them.
Hmm.
So I ended up using them. I cleaned them all up. I put heat shrink on the handles to make them so you don't slice your hand open with it. Then I ended up just saying, right, I can't keep using these. So I was breaking them non-stop. So I ended up ordering the Sparrows Monstrum Double XL,
Okay.
which I like to think of as my official. Well, wasn't my official first pick set, but my official proper pick set.
Okay.
The way I like to look at it, just because I literally still have those picks to this day, and I still use the exact same pick set.
Okay.
Um, Granted, a couple of them have broken. I've broken a couple of the hooks, and quite recently I broke the bow guitar on it,
Okay.
and that set. But I still have those picks, and they've lasted since probably 2018, 2019,
Okay.
2018 it would have been.
All right. Yeah.
So,
I like the Monstrum picks. I have some of those myself. So what was the first lock you opened?
so that was kind of a funny story. When I got the cheap Chinese picks in, my old man come round. He used to come round every morning for a coffee after he had breakfast in Macca's. He had the same routine every day, and he come round one day and he goes, "Oh, you got the old picks?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Here," and he pulled a Federal Super padlock out of his pocket. It was a A520C. It was unlocked, and he goes, "I don't have a key for it." And he locked it up and threw it at me. And he said, "Pick it open." And then within about 2 minutes playing with it, I heard the shackle go pop. And I was, that's what kind of got me stuck into Locksport was just popping that shackle open. And I
Well,
still have that padlock today.
I bet he was impressed with it too, though.
He said that was all right. Do it again.
Yep, that sounds like a dad to me.
Yeah, yeah. He was always one of those ones. He's like, you know, he is quite convert. How can I put it? He's quite the what his way of teaching people wasn't probably the best way. No matter how hard you try and how perfect you do something, he goes, "That was horrible. Do it again." as a way to push you to do better and better and stuff like that. So yeah, he's even still to this day, like I I'm never 100% happy with anything that I do. I always, even if I do it perfectly, I'm like, I can do better. I can do better than that, because that's what
Yeah.
the old man taught us to do. And yeah, with that padlock, when he goes, all right, do it again, do it again, and just kept pushing it. And yeah,
Okay. So at some point in the beginning of your journey, I would imagine, you mentioned YouTube earlier. Who were your influencers from YouTube early on?
so what got me into locksport, got me fascinated, was when we finally, well, first got Wi-Fi at our old house. We finally got Wi-Fi and had a Wii U that I bought, and started watching YouTube videos because I'm like, oh my god, I can actually watch YouTube on a proper screen now. And as you do when it's like 1 o'clock in the morning and you're bored and you're skimming through videos, I come across a Bosnian Bill video. So it was Bosnian Bill that first got me into locksport. Watching him pick open the lock and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my god, is there other people that can do this? And then naturally, as most people do, you go from Bosnian Bill onto lockpicking lawyer and lock noob, and they were my, as I used to call them, the trio,
Mm-hmm.
of locksport. And then naturally, watching them, I progressed on to Deviant Olam as well.
Okay.
Um, so I'll Deviant Olaf, I should say, but yeah, so they were my original influences in YouTube, but it was Bosnian Build that kicked off the Locksport journey for me.
Okay. So you eventually started up your own channel. Can you talk about how you got that going and where you got to with it?
Yeah, so I started the channel just on a whim. I thought, I'll give it a shot. I was feeling a little bit cocky, as they say, because I could pick a couple of basic locks open. um,
Yep.
so So I'm like, all right, I'll start up a YouTube channel, and when I lived out on the farm, I had a massive office out there, and I set up a little corner on the big built-in desk, and I'm like, I've got to come up with a name, got to come up with a name, and I was like, I had Harry Potter books sitting there, and I had a painting that I did that said Dark Arts on it. And I went, oh, okay, I'm going to go with Dark Arts,
Okay.
which is kind of based, defense against the dark arts of Harry Potter. And Dark Arts lockpicking was just, naturally born from that. Because I used to think of it, like lockpicking
Oh, I think
offense and stuff like that.
we lost you for a second.
Our network must have dropped.
So
Yep.
you had quite the journey, though. I mean, you grew pretty quickly from what you explained. Can you talk about that?
In a way, yeah. So we went from. Oh, I still remember my first 10 subscribers. Um, when I hit my first 10, I never expected to get any at all. And I just realised why our network's out, our power's out. um, just they're doing works on the power grid here. Um, so I still remember hitting the first 10. I still remember who won my first ever giveaway, which was Leon's Lockpad. He won the first ever giveaway I did. But I just kept, making videos, um, and just grew and grew and slowly grew, and then I've become the largest log sport channel in Australia.
How many
Which
sub-
isn't.
how many subscribers are you at now?
At the moment, I am. Let me just double check because it's been a. I'm not one of those ones that look every day to go. Oh, I'm up.
Yeah.
I'm at 3,732.
Okay. Hey,
So
that's still what 500 more than when we spoke last, which was what a couple months ago. So
yeah, it's growing slowly. Once you start getting subscribers, like the hardest thing is to get the first 100. That is the hardest part, is to get your first 100 subscribers. But after that, if you keep making content that you really enjoy, and that others will enjoy as well, you just naturally grow and grow. Um, I still remember when we got to the first 1,000, I was actually, Leon's Lockpad and myself were both sitting around the same amount of subscribers, and we were both like talking to each other non-stop, like, come on, we can do this, we can do this, and we both hit 1,000 subscribers at the same time.
Okay.
um, which we both celebrated.
Okay,
um,
that's cool.
yeah, I mean, at times you can get a bit disheartened, like,
Hmm.
when you see newer channels, new people that just start up, um, and all of a sudden they've beaten you with subscribers,
Yeah.
and you've been working your bum off for the last, 4 or 5 years trying to get up to where you are now. And then you get others that just start and they go straight past you.
Yeah.
At times it does get a bit, upsetting and disheartening, but all you need to do is just keep doing the content that you love to make and push through it.
Yep. So you talked a little bit to me about monetizing a channel. Can you talk about that just a little bit?
So yeah, when we went from just being a locksport YouTube channel and turned into a business, um, after you get 1,000 subscribers and you get 4,000 watch hours um, for the year, I always hated ads, and always said I wasn't going to monetize, to begin with. But with the natural progression and turn it into a business and stuff like that, I finally managed. I reached criteria to monetize, and the guy who works with me, Daryl, who helps with all the cyber stuff, he's like, it'd be a good idea to monetize the channel. The only thing is, he goes, you're gonna have to change the way you do your videos. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, you can't swear anymore, because I was known as quite a bit of a swearer. Chef's mouth. I have a pretty bad chef's mouth, which a lot of you, if you go through and watch my older videos, I'm hoping YouTube doesn't go back through them, because I'll be demonetized in like a second and probably kicked off YouTube. Um, so yeah, I had to change my speech when it
Yeah,
comes to videos.
you had to clean it up a little bit.
I wouldn't say a little bit. I'd say quite a lot.
Okay.
I got like the Aussie chef mouth, where every second word out of your mouth is a swear word.
So you mentioned something during our pre-interview about early on mimicking another YouTube
Yeah,
personality.
yeah. Yes, yeah. So when I first started the videos, the first couple of videos I did, there was no talking at all. I was too scared to talk on camera. And the video camera that I was recording on was really, really horrible. And then, I'm like, I can't keep doing silent videos. I'm going to have to talk at some stage. So, and someone said to me, use your phone to record and you can edit on there. And I'm like, oh, cool. There's actually Leon that told me that. And as a lot of pickers do, and you'll notice if you study their videos early on, they try to copy or mimic another person, in the way they do their videos. So for me, watching Bosnian Bill and seeing the way he does it, and the way the videos look so professional and well done and stuff like that, I tried to mimic him in a way to try and do videos that looked professional and stuff like that. Especially when you have no idea to begin with what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
As I always said, I'm just a spastic with a camera. So it's like I had to mimic somebody in order to be able to do content. So I had no idea what I was doing. But then you naturally, as you progress along in your videos and your content, you will change your style to suit and make it your own. You'll find your own niche once you get comfortable in front or behind the camera. But early on, a lot of people do mimic other pickers. I've seen it with
Mm-hmm.
a lot of channels.
Yeah.
Those that try to do quick, short videos like lockpicking lawyer, do thumbnails like him and stuff like that. So you do see it. People do mimic. They always say, act like your heroes and stuff like that. So, but yeah, you will. Yeah, everyone mimics me. It was Bosnian Bill early on, but now I have my own completely different style.
Okay.
Which is me, which I'm happy with.
Okay. So I wanted to make sure we got into this. I wanted to talk a little bit about how you took dark arts lockpicking and then turned it into a business.
Yeah, well, I never expected to turn it into a business. That just happened in a way. One day I was contacted by Daryl Jackway Services, who is a guy who works with me. He does all the security for the website. He set up the website and everything like that. He sent me an email one day about making a website, and I'm like, okay, I don't really have anything to put out there on a website kind of thing. And we were talking and talking, and then he's like, you can cut and sell the keys that you cut in videos and you talk about on videos, and because you do key cutting, he goes, you can sell them off the website. And I'm like, oh, okay, okay, yep, I could do that. And then it just naturally progressed. So we went from just being a YouTube channel to selling products off of a website. And then when Daryl came down, we sat and spoke, and we talked about running classes. Because I started diving into more covert entry and non-destructive entry methods rather than just lockpicking, bypassing, and stuff like that. We decided to start teaching classes on it. We spoke about that, which we're still in the process of setting up. It's a lot of work that actually goes into that, surprisingly. And then the products grew, and the services that we offer grew. And it was just, in a way, it was like a natural step for dark arts.
Sure.
A lot more work for me rather than just recording videos and popping them out. Now I'm doing videos. I'm trying to come up with content, running the business. Doing some locksmith work, doing keys, keeping up with products to post out, keeping up with orders. It's a lot, but yeah, I never expected to turn the YouTube channel into a business. But it was just a natural progression when I got asked if I wanted to have a website. And stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't have anything to put up on a website. So, yeah, we ended up turning it into a business and stuff like that.
So are you doing this full time or do you do something outside of dark arts?
So I run dark arts all the time. I'm always working on content, on products, and stuff like that. So I do that. During the day, I also work as a personal care assistant for a large aged care facility. I've been there for 5 years now. It was 5 years at the start of the month. I also work maintenance there as well now. So I do two jobs there. So I work 5 days a week at the aged care facility, along with running dark arts as well. So I work three jobs at once. And at the
Okay.
moment, I'm also doing handyman work, which I'm off to today. On the weekends, I do some handyman work for a friend of ours who needs a lot of work done around the place and they can't do it. So they're
Okay.
paying me to do it. So at the moment, I'm working like 4 jobs and I have 2 days off a fortnight.
When do you sleep?
If it's anything like last night, I don't.
All
I,
right.
I went to bed at my normal time about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm normally up at when I got the kids at school days. I'm up at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But last night I went to bed at normal time, and I didn't get to sleep until about last time I looked at my phone was 5:30 in the morning, and
Okay.
it's currently like 9 o'clock now, and we've been on here for a while, so
Yeah.
not much sleep tonight. or
Okay.
last night.
So, last question before we wrap up, because I do want to make sure we get enough time to go into this. But you mentioned about the covert entry aspect of your what you're teaching and so forth. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so one of the classes, or a lot of the classes that we taught, we're setting up private classes for your everyday people. But some of the classes that we taught, where I went, Daryl teaches security guards. He teaches and trains people to become security guards. And I used to go to his classes, and on one of the days, I would do a presentation on non destructive entry methods. So we would talk to people, the people learn to be security guards, like, look, these are the methods that we use when we do pen testing, which is one of the services that we offer. Legal criminals, as I like to call myself, I break into your buildings. Um, we teach them like how these methods are used and what to look out for, because being security guards, they're there to protect establishments. People like us are there to break into establishments. So we like to teach people about it. We do presentations on non-destructive entry and cybersecurity for businesses as well. So one of the reasons why we want to teach classes is we're not here to teach criminals, as some people would think. You'd be surprised how much I get that. But we teach people so that they have an understanding of methods that can be used and are commonly used by people like us to gain access into their establishments,
Well,
and
sure.
also how to defend against those types of
Yeah.
attacks.
You
So
can't you
with our
can't know you can't really know how to defend against something unless you know what you're defending against.
exactly, and that's what we try to teach. Like the presentations, we'd be like, these are called underdoor tools, and we show them. They can actually hold on to the underdoor tool we've got, and we're like, right, this is how it works. So these are steps that you can put in place on how to prevent this type of tool from working by covering the handles and stopping the tool from being able to go over it. We even show them there and there during the presentations. This is how we can cut a key from a photo. So if you're using your standard keys, we show them how we can easily decode their keys from the photo, and then we actually cut a working key right in front of them, and they even have a go at it themselves. So they have an understanding of, right, well, okay, I'm not going to leave my keys out sitting around anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep my keys hidden in my pocket or put a key cover on them. The same with cybersecurity. We teach people about social engineering attacks and devices like
Yep.
USBs.
Yep.
Duckies that can be used to gain access. We're telling you 46% of people have stated if they see a USB sitting on the ground, they will plug it into a computer to see who it
Yep.
belongs to.
Yep.
Stuff like that. So, more than likely somebody at your establishment, if will pick up a USB. So someone leaves them laying around in the car park, more than likely, someone's going to plug it in, which means we could have remote access.
Yep.
So that's why we started teaching it. I saw a lot of bad practices put in place. I see a lot of weaknesses in security. Walking through buildings and establishments and stuff like that, I look like I'm casing the joint. I look like I'm staking out the place to break into it. I'm seeing what cameras I have, what locks, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing that. Like once you start lock picking, you'll notice you're looking at what locks are being used around you.
Sure.
And then once you start looking at the locks, you're like, right, well, that hardware's not installed properly. So I could slip that latch quite easily.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So that's what it was, and that's why I ended up teaching. Saw all these weaknesses in security, and I'm like, right, I want to help these people increase their security.
Yeah.
So that's why we now do covert entry. So we not only teach classes on it, we not only do presentations, but if people really want to put their establishments to the test, then they hire us to break in and use covert entry methods to get into their buildings, and then we write up the report, like for physical penetration testing,
Well,
and stuff like that. So
yep. I can tell you I've shared some of your cybersecurity video links with our own cybersecurity folks where I work. So they found it quite interesting. So before we wrap up, is there anything you'd like to say to our audience?
Just my normal hashtag, which is keep it bloody legal.
Okay. All right.
Which
Sounds
is
good. Thank you.
yeah.
I had a lot of fun talking with you, especially in the pre-interview. We talked for quite a while, so that was a lot of fun talking about a lot of different things. So I
Yeah,
definitely.
you notice that like over the years with how long I've been in locksport, I still do locksport, even though people think I don't. I still do. Um, and it's amazing how many people from around the world you can meet that you never thought you would.
Yep.
Um, the amount of conversations you have and how you can find people with the same ideas and the same passions as you,
Yep.
um,
Definitely.
and stuff like that. It's been amazing. I mean, I've been in a lot of communities. I used to be in a dart league. I was the president of the dart league and stuff like that. And the community was kind of horrible, whereas the Locksport community has been absolutely fantastic.
I
I
agree.
highly recommend people get into Locksport, and check out all the channels and stuff like that, because you never know who you will meet,
Yep.
um, and stuff like that. So I mean, like HB Logic, and I met up with him quite recently at the Locksport meetup, and it was an absolutely fantastic time.
Yeah.
So it's amazing who you can meet and what you can meet in this community. It's really just one of the best ones around.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Again, I want to thank you for the interview and also for that great conversation. If you are a subscriber, thank you. If you are not yet a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications and all, and hit like on the video. And I want to thank everybody for listening.